46. Show number 46 here in Beit Shemesh, Israel. Yes, show number 46 in Beit Shemesh, Israel. It's Lenny Solomon live. You know, it's great to be here. I hope you guys had a great Shabbat, a great weekend. Tomorrow's an exciting day. Election day in America. Exciting day. And we're not going to talk about that. Because today, my friends, we're kind of going to be talking about that because we're going to be talking about emunah, faith, belief. Yes, today we're going to play the first 5 songs of the album Emunah for you in a special pre-election day Shlock Rock concert here in the Four Corners Project Studios here in Beit Shemesh. Yes, the first 5 songs of the Emunah album, and then on Thursday night we will play the last 6 songs. And the thing that you're going to know is tomorrow we have a special interview with Gary Wallen, one of the original 6 members of Shlock Rock. Just like the NHL has an original 6, we also have an original 6. And Gary Wallen, the original drummer, will be joining us tomorrow for our in-depth interview into what it was like in the early years of Shlock Rock. It should be really, really fun. So that'll be at 3:30 p.m. New York time tomorrow. As tonight, we try to get close to 3:30 p.m., but you know, now it's already almost 4 p.m. for you guys. And it's 7 hours later in Israel. So, you guys ready? Let's get us started. Oh yeah. Well, I've been waiting a long, long time, been saving up my money every single day, picking up my suitcase in hand, no time to lose, going away, heading for the Holy Land, doing the things I've been wanting to do, setting up my final homestand, the place for every Jew. Working 9 to 5 for many years now, with the hopes that I could stop. Finally set up the plan, my dreams in motion. Got a job up in Safat, heading for the Holy Land, ending my days as a traveling man. I think the whole idea is grand, the place for every Jew. Gonna make the sacrifice. They say it's gonna be tough, but you know it's not tough. But I can handle any situation, even when times are rough. Just moving there's enough. Oh yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a special day. Had a nice conversation with the head of Nefesh B'Nefesh. He said that people are calling him 3 times the usual amount, 300%, talking about Aliyah, heading for the Holy Land, changing my style, lending a hand, starting my business and building up the land, the place for every Jew. That's right, the place for every Jew. Israel is the place for every Jew, and I've been here now 24 years. You know, the funny thing is, a lot of that song I wrote it in 1988, 87, 88. It came out in March 88 on the Emunah album. It was track 1. And, but I didn't move until 1996. So I didn't make Aliyah until 96. And so I would tell everybody, you got to start planning, my friends. You got to start planning. All right, let's move on to the next song as we're taking ourselves through the Emunah album. And this is the best that you can be. A guy I met came up to me and said, I found this thing you call religion. And being that there are so many laws, it seems I've got some indecision. I don't know how I can follow all the rules rules that were bestowed upon us. Tell me please what I should do. Observance is my problem, please be honest. I said to him, do the things that you can do. Learn as much as you can learn. Try as much as you can try. But be the best that you can be. The best that you can be. A friend came up to me and said, I've always had this thing you call religion, but my practice has diminished and my service is with mechanical precision. When I pray I have no feeling, words come out with very little meaning. What can I do to get some inspiration? Send my prayers through the ceiling. You know what he said? He said to them, do the things that you can do. Learn as much as you can learn. Try as much as you can try. But be the best that you can be. 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 So this Emunah album was written, the first side was written while, I call it the first side. The first 5 songs were written when I was in, well, most of them were written when I was in Melbourne, Australia. And this song was from a program called Counterpoint, where the kids would come up to you and tell you how they felt. And there were a number of kids that had problems. They didn't believe in God. And because of that, I wrote these songs. And that was a tremendous program in Melbourne. And then I did 9 years in Johannesburg, not in a row. I'm talking about summers, where I would go and do the same type of program, but that was called Encounter. So we had Counterpoint in Melbourne, Australia, and Encounter in Johannesburg, or as they say there, Joburg. And those were great experiences. Okay, you guys, so just reminding you, we are at the fourcornersproject.org studio, www.4cornersproject.org. And we are way over 44,000 people for our, we're like 985 people watching every show. And I would just tell you guys, go over to the Four Corners Project studio, go over to the website, www.fourcornersproject.org, and make a donation for the year so that we can continue doing 3 shows a week, 2 live concerts and 1 interview with members of the band. You guys, I know, really enjoy it. I know we had Eitan G last week. It was a big success, and Gary Wallen tomorrow. So I want to just remind you guys that. Also, let's do a little sports trivia. Today is Los Angeles Dodgers, congratulating the Los Angeles Dodgers for winning the World Series, and Los Angeles Kings, who have won the Stanley Cup recently, but they did not do well this past year at the NHL. Anyway, here we go. Your 4 trivia questions for today. First 2 questions are about the Dodgers. This pitcher, who had a reputation for not pitching well in the postseason, won 2 games in the World Series for the Dodgers. Who is he? Easy question to start us off. Second question, also not so hard. This player was the MVP in the World Series, and he happened to play for the Dodgers. Who was he? Now, our 2 hockey questions. Okay, question number 1. This defenseman helped the Kings win 2 Stanley Cups, and his initials are DD. DD. Let me know who he is. And finally, this year's Kings, 2019 to 2020, were not good. But who was their captain? I'm wearing number 99, which, of course, captain of the Kings back then, Wayne Gretzky. Now, Wayne Gretzky happens to be 17 days younger than me. Isn't that interesting? But we want to know who is the captain of this year's Los Angeles Kings. Okay, there are your 4 questions. And let's go back and let's continue with another song from the Amuna album. And this is called Stop. This is definitely based on personal experience, as everybody who is always has to run home for Shabbat, for the Sabbath. Between 1982 and 1985, I worked as an accountant. And on Friday, you'd have to come home and rush to get ready for Shabbos or for Shabbat. And this is the song that I wrote because of that. 1,001 things to do 15 minutes ago. I gotta shower, gotta shave, and I gotta get dressed. I gotta put away all my dough. Had a meeting in Manhattan at 4:45. Got stuck in traffic, but I made it home alive so I could stop. Course Shabbos is here. It's 25 hours to me. Very dear, I'm gonna drop all the things on my mind, put it aside for another day. 5 exams, 3 papers, 1,000 pages of reading coming up in only 5 days. Now it's Friday afternoon and I've been working like crazy. Can't believe it's such a short day. Close the book, stop the writing, prepare for his glory. Gonna sing my Shabbos songs, gonna tell my Shabbos stories, gonna stop. Course Shabbos is here. It's 25 hours to me. Very dear, I'm gonna drop all the things on my mind, put it aside for another day. Some people might think you need a lot of discipline to stop what you're doing when the sun goes down. But I enjoy the rest, it's my day of relaxation. Don't care about my test when Shabbos comes around. Now I'm closing up shop, put my business on hold, sitting down to my Friday night meal. Yeah, the market is closed and my mind is at rest. Seems like a pretty good deal. One day a week I won't make the scene, put an end to that day in, day out routine. I'm gonna stop. Course Shabbos is here. It's 25 hours to me. Every day I'm gonna drop all the things on my mind, put it aside for another day. I'm gonna stop. Course Shabbos is here. It's 25 hours to me. Every day I'm gonna drop all the things on my mind, put it aside for another day. Yeah. Stop. And that was song number 3 off the Amuna album. And it's such a fun album. We have such great stories. Do you know who played trumpet on the Amuna album in the studio? Tom Bones Malone from the Blues Brothers. I had a guy from the Blues Brothers play on a schlock rock album. Oh, what a thrill that was. Because we love that movie, The Blues Brothers. And Tom Bones Malone was the trombone player. That's why it's called Bones, short for trombone. Tom Bones Malone was the trumpet player on the Amuna album. And Jack Schatz played trombone, and Arkady Kaufman played sax. That was the horn section. How did we get Tom Bones Malone? Because of Shmuel Wasserman, Olav Shalom. He was the drummer. He's not alive anymore, but Shmuel Wasserman was the drummer, and he brought in Tom Bones Malone to play because he was friendly with him, and Jack Schatz as well. Okay, you guys, let's go to song 4, and then we'll go to prayers for the sick. Here we go. This song is called Cycle, and it's also a true story. I was the last cantor, the last chazan in a shul that used to have 600 people in it, and I wrote a song called Cycle. Here we go. In the beginning, a few had said, come on, let's build a shul. It was 1924 in Richmond Hill. Many people started moving into the neighborhood, and soon the synagogue began to fill. Word had spread about the shul that had grown in such short time. The Shabbat crowd flowed into the streets. Children running round and round, looking for their parents, who would try to keep them quiet in their seats. I remember those times like they happened yesterday, said the shamus to me with a twinkle in his eye. even though that was long ago, I still see it very clearly. Let me tell you what went on during those times. On Mondays and on Wednesdays, there was Hebrew school at 4, and every day Daf Yomi would be taught. A Kiddush every Shabbat morning after we had prayed. It seemed like a simcha every other day. We watched the children grow up, succeed and move away, getting married, having children, teaching them to follow in our path. The neighborhood began to change, and with it the shul too. People started moving out, now I'm the last. And as the sun broke through the stained glass windows in the shul, he turned to me and then began to smile. I've heard about a neighborhood that's growing very fast, to take our place and continue for a while. And so a chapter ended in this neighborhood in Queens, and the shaman stood and then he turned to go. But in another place, a cycle was beginning to keep the flame alive and help us grow. Yes, in another place, a cycle was beginning to keep the flame alive and help us grow. Cycle, track 4 off the Emunah album. All right, you know, that song gives me goosebumps when I get to the end. All right, everybody. What about the people that are sick, that are not doing so well? Some people have COVID. If you have COVID out there, I wish you were refuah shlema. If you have any type of sickness, I wish you that Hashem should grant you a complete recovery. Complete. We have lots of people that have sent me names, and every show we try to highlight a couple of them, just to in case you want to write their names down, to pray for them. Let's go to Rivka Fruma bat Leah Bela, pray for her. Eliza bat Batsheva, pray for her. What else we got? Yosef Michael ben Yehudit Shoshana, pray for him. Tuvia Kadish ben Chaya Meta, you can pray for him, for her, for him, it's a he. And finally, Tzivya Chola bat Malya Devora and Yaakov Gavriel ben Malya Devora. So here we have a whole bunch of names. Okay, we're coming to the end of the show. I seem to go longer and longer. I get more and more comfortable in front of the camera. I'm not sure. Maybe we would do better if the shows were back to 6 to 8 minutes long. Somehow I think we're doing right now, we're at 16 minutes. Anyway, let's finish the show with Emunah. Here we go. They broke through in 48, paving the way for us all, taking the land, making a state. Freedom was their call. But they knew they were a link in the chain. This was more than just winning a war. They were holding on tight to generations of people who tried countless times before. And the weapon they used to keep on with the fight, helped them carry the prayers, the hopes, and the light, was the fact that they all believed in the cause and learned from their fathers who taught them the laws. And they had Emunah, they believed deep inside, did not need logic. They had Jewish pride, it was Emunah from the day they were born, were ingrained with the values that could never be torn. We have Emunah, we believe deep inside, did not need logic. They had Jewish pride, it was Emunah from the day they were born, were ingrained with the values that could never be torn. Oh yeah. Now we're scattered all over the world, and we visit every once in a while. And we're hoping that the day will come when we can leave this exile. So we wait for this moment when the Messiah will come. He'll stand up for our people and bring us biyachad as one. So feel the emunah, don't put it aside. Help him come faster and quicken his stride, so we can carry the prayers, hopes, and the light, for the end of the tunnel is clearly in sight. Everybody, we must have emunah, must believe deep inside. Call it bitachon or just plain Jewish pride. Take your emunah, pass it on to a friend, then our beginnings will come to an end. Call it emunah. Yeah. We must have emunah, we believe deep inside. Call it bitachon or just plain Jewish pride. We have emunah from the day we are born, are ingrained with the values that could never be torn. We have emunah. Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen, we have emunah, we have belief. We have belief in God that we will get through 2020. I've heard so many people make jokes about that. I just want to say and give credit to Bracha Kidovitz. See, Bracha wrote the words to this song, Emunah. She called me up one day. It was through Mark Skyer. Mark Skyer was the original 6 bass player for Shlock Rock. And she called me up through Mark and Chani Skyer, and she said to me, I've written this song. Would you like to write words to it? And it was called Emunah. And I took it and I wrote this song. So she wrote the words and I wrote the music. And it was a lot of, that song is a classic. It's a Shlock Rock classic. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have enjoyed to show number 46 here of Lenny Solomon Live at the Four Corners Project studio in Beit Shemesh, Israel. Everybody have a great day tomorrow, no matter where you are. And tomorrow night, join us, 3:30 p.m. New York time, 10:30 p.m. Israel time, 8:30 p.m. UK time, and so on and so on and so on, for Gary Wallen joining us for an interview with one of the 6 original Shlock Rock members. We'll see you tomorrow. Keep on shlocking.